Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Jojo Palacio, and on this channel we talk about all things beauty. Today we are going to focus on this All About the Neutrals Fall Smoky Eye Glam. It's all matte too, which I was very pleasantly surprised, but lately I've been getting inspiration on different looks, and this was one of them, and I am obsessed with how it came out. It's smoky, it's all neutral, it's all matte, it's age appropriate for everyone, and it's definitely a fall seasonal look. Look at the complexion that we accomplished. I'm gonna say I'm obsessed like 1,000 times. I love this look. I'm glad that I actually get to go somewhere in it tonight. We're going to dinner with some family and I'm super excited about that. Today's look is perfect for everyone, all age groups. It is an all neutral, all matte look. I show you blending techniques because with smoky eye, it's very important that you understand how to blend, not only with what brushes, but the technique behind it, the pressure. How you're blending, if you're using, your wrist or your arm or whatever. Yes, there is a whole technique, and I know that makeup can be overwhelming, but like I said, on this channel, we talk about all things beauty, and we're discussing that today, how to blend with a nice neutral smoky eye. So bring a notepad, settle in, and let's do this together. Before we get into it though, I do want to remind you guys that I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday of every week. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, take a minute before we get into this lesson and subscribe to my channel. We do things all the time like skincare, makeup. We talk about motivational. It's not just makeup, it's all things beauty, beauty inside and out, and I want you guys to be a part of that. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do that now. And that is it. Let's get into this all neutral, all matte fall smoky eye. All right guys, so we're gonna start off zoomed in for the eyes. We've already prepped the eyelid with the P. Louise eye base. I've been applying mine with my finger. I feel like it gives me a lot more control. The warmth of my finger really works the product into the skin. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just blend out any creasing that might have happened. And minimal is enough. Other people using a very generous technique, however, that's not necessary. And we're gonna get right into this neutral smoky fall eye. I was inspired by something neutral. Like, I'm usually a warm tone girl, don't get me wrong. However, I was feeling the neutrals. I like saw it, So we're gonna go into this guy right here. This is by Morphe. It is the 25B palette, super inexpensive, but it is all neutrals. The nice thing about it is if you're someone who doesn't necessarily love shimmer, this is a really good palette. Like, there's literally one row of shimmer. You can kind of do a highlight or a pop of color in the center, but the rest, you're messing with some really good mattes. Plums, all neutral, very, very nice palette. If you're trying to give something to like mom or grandma and you know that they don't do shimmers, great. Overall, I'm obsessed. So we're gonna get started in this look, and we're gonna use The Makeup Shack eyeshadow brush. This is the T59. Love this as a blending crease brush for all over, just to get a nice blend in the background. And I'm gonna use this shade right here. They're not named, but it's a nice taupey shade. Oh, it's so good. Like, if you just wanted to do that one on its own and just keep it moving, you could absolutely do that. So I'm gonna build the product up on the brush first. What I mean by that is you're just gonna keep dabbing it into the palette, into the eyeshadow. Then we get rid of the excess, and then we're gonna go into the eyelid. That technique, building it up into the brush versus having to go back in numerous times, really helps smooth out the blend of these colors. And blending is ideal when it comes to darker shades, because that is what I find causes clients to feel like they've got a black eye, the blend. So we're gonna use a nice big fluffy brush for our first color. You're gonna use circular motions. Pressure is a big deal when it comes to blending out these colors, guys. You don't want the bristles on your brush to be flattened up against your skin. That's a no-no. What you do want is a nice light touch as you're working it into the eyelid. That's very important. It's not necessarily a strength contest, so just keep that in mind. You want very nice light pressure. Your hair bristles should not be bent. If they are, think about it for a second. Use your wrist instead of your entire arm and keep working. All right guys, once you have a nice build of that, a nice concentration of that color, we're gonna scoot over to the right a little bit, literally one pan to the right, and we're gonna switch gears. So this is also a The Makeup Shack brush, however this is a T50, and I wanna show you the difference in brush. The size is pretty much the same, they're full. However, you see how the new one has a point versus the other one? That point is gonna help us get into that deeper part of the crease, blend out the color, build it up, but a little more precise. So the size does matter, but also the shape. We're gonna go into this guy right here. They're all so dark, I wish we had more light. Aha, there you go, so you can see the pigmentation difference. So we're gonna go into this guy. And again, building up on the brush before we go onto the eyelid. Get rid of any excess. As dark as these colors are, there is very little fallout, which I love because it's intimidating using dark colors. And so again, we're gonna go right below that first shade, same pressure, same amount of pressure, same range of motion. Circular motions, you can do inner, outer circles, it does not matter. But you've noticed it's pretty far into the inner corner. That is on purpose. This is a very smoky fall neutral eye look. I'm okay with it going into the inner corner. We're gonna lighten it up just a little bit later. But focus this mostly on that lower crease and outer corner so we can create a nice gradient transition. Perfect. So I'm gonna go back to that first shade, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna work around that second color almost as if I were applying that first color over again. However, I'm not gonna add any additional product to the brush. Just work with what's there to really blend and diffuse everything. There should be an overcast of taupe underneath of this other dark taupe, which almost looks like a gray, but it's not. That's the whole part of being neutral. Could you use a gray? Absolutely. However, I like the fact that it was all taupes and we built it up to a nice cool brown. So once we are there, we're ready for the lid shade, and this lid shade is gorgeous. It is like a dark chocolate bar. That's this color right here. I'll back it up just a little bit so the light can catch it, but it is a nice, rich, dark chocolate color, and I love that. And I'm gonna apply that with a fluffier shading brush. This one is by Luxie. It's their 239 Precision Shader Brush. And so you're gonna build the color on the brush just like before, but we are going to use swiping, tapping motions versus swirling. And so you're gonna swipe in, down towards the center of the eyelid like your lash line, so you're controlling where the darkness is starting, and then you are using patting motions to get all of the product from the brush onto your lid. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go around the edges of what we just applied so we can blend it into the other colors on the lid. This is really just a very, if you have a clean blending brush, this is okay too. I just like the size of this one because it's very specific. Again, the darker the color, the smaller the brush. That's just something that I live by when it comes to eyeshadow brushes because it gives you more control, and we're just blending everything into each other so it's just a seamless smoke all throughout the eye. And I'm pretty happy with that. So we're gonna stop right there and we're gonna go into the mascara, liner, lashes situation. So I'm gonna use a pencil, a tiny pencil. No, this is the Urban Decay Zero Liner. I love the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On pencils. They're absolutely amazing to work with. So I'm gonna use this guy and blend it very closely to the lash line. One thing I try to do with smoky eyes is to make sure that I take up the color right to the lash line so we can get rid of any skin or fleshy tones. It'll make the look just look a whole and complete. So to blend that out, because we are wanting to blend that out, so I'm gonna use this brush right here. It says blending crease brush, however, this is like the perfect liner lip brush, and I'm just gonna sweep that across to really smoke that lash line out. I don't want any precise line with the liners, and I'm gonna flick the outside out just a little bit. I like this because the color really does build up on the brush, and it gives you a little more control to mess with and manipulate the lash. For lashes, I'm keeping the lashes pretty simple but yet wispy, because you always want to lift the eye with a smoky eye. You don't necessarily want to pull the eyelash or the eye down. Ways that you can pull the eye down are by bringing the smoke too far out, hence why I cleaned this guy, and we got to clean up this guy a little bit. or by using an overwhelming lash. The eye look is already dark and intense. You just want something to pull your lashes forward. The style that I'm using to do that is by Beauty Creation, and this is the lash Hermosa. I've really come to like this. I use this a lot for bridal parties or weddings because it is just a very flirty, simple lash that won't take away from the look, won't take away from the moment. So I'm gonna put that on my eyelids, but first, mascara. So I'm gonna use the Legit Lashes Huda Beauty mascara. The curling length side, I love this brush and the formula. I use this prior to putting on lashes all the time because it separates, it lifts, gives a nice gentle coat, which I love. And you want your lashes lifted and separated. It'll help you carry the false lashes way better. Okay guys, so I have you zoomed out because we're starting on Complexion already. For Complexion, we're gonna do a combination of primers. I have combination skin, and I also like my complexion to look a certain way. So I always trust my primers to give me that versus relying on just a foundation. So I have a combination of primers, like I said. Do you have to do this? Absolutely not. But I like a nice full coverage matte foundation with a glowy finish, if that makes sense. So to accomplish that, I'm using 3 primers. These 2 right here is the MAC Strobe Cream, and then I have the Banana Bright Face Primer. So the Banana Bright Face Primer is gonna treat my skin, giving me that radiance and that glow naturally with the vitamin C and the banana powder. And then the Strobe Cream is gonna give you that illusion of nice, glowy, healthy skin because of the pearls that it has in it. So I'm gonna mix that, and I'm gonna keep that in the outer perimeters. You want to have very hydrated, very glowy skin to start off with when you're using a mattifying foundation if you're not oily, right? Because when you're oily, you naturally develop those oils. However, because I have dry outer and oily inner, it is very difficult for me to wear super matte foundations without prepping. So for my pores and my oil, I use a Dr. Brandt Pores No More primer. If you guys have not tried that primer, please do yourself a favor and try the primer. If you buy the sample size, perfect, but let me tell you what, go ahead and get the full size because you're gonna love it. It literally erases your pores, and I don't know how else to describe it. It erases your pores. Check that out, you're gonna love it. So my skin is prepped. We're gonna move on to my absolute favorite foundation. It is the Smashbox Studio Skin 24-hour foundation. Anytime that I wear this foundation, guys, I get hella compliments on it. I wear it in the shade 2.18. You only need a minimal amount. I wanna say like a pea size. That is gonna cover my entire face, and that might even be too much. So the way that I like to apply this foundation is with a buffing foundation brush, and then I'll push it in with a sponge. This is gonna give me immediate full coverage. It is gonna smooth out my skin. It wears really well in humidity or even environments where you're going to get wet. It has really good transfer proof performance. Like the days that I wear it with a mask over it, intermittently, even though I'm wearing a mask, it really lasts very, very well. I mean, you guys can see that. This foundation is amazing. I didn't think I was gonna like it. I thought it was gonna be too thick, but let me tell you what, I've been using it for almost a year now. This is the foundation that I wore the day of my wedding, and I love this foundation. I'm telling you, every single time I wear it, I get asked what I'm wearing. So look at that complexion. Like this right here, you see that glow, but we're covered. The matteness of the foundation really helps to address any texture. If you have any acne, if you're someone who's oily, or if you know that you're gonna be exposed to whatever. I mean, I had someone at Sephora come in, and they're a news reporter, and they said, listen, I need something that's gonna last, that's gonna make my skin look good, and that I can trust, and this foundation is it. Like I stand by it. So we're gonna move on to the tanning, bronzing portion of this tutorial. I use 2 things, ride or dies, to tan or contour my face. So one is the Milk Makeup Flex Foundation Stick. I am a firm believer in using concealers or foundations to bronze up the face. The formulas just work better with a foundation, not the contouring products don't, but I find that they're difficult to blend out versus a foundation or a concealer just works best with foundation and concealer. So the Milk Makeup Flex Foundation Stick, I use it in the shade Medium Tan. Push, I'm using a BH Cosmetics brush to do that. You're just working this into the skin with patting motion, sweeping it towards the hairline. Hence why I always look crazy when I'm doing these tutorials, because I don't like to have makeup on my hair when I go out. So by doing my makeup first and then my hair, I can just wipe off any type of foundation or whatever that I get on my hair. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. Little tip, if you are someone who is struggling to find a good bronzing shade, or your foundation always ends up looking a little too dark, I always recommend that my clients go lighter in foundation and warm up with the bronzer. One, that's gonna help prevent your foundation looking too dark. Two, your contour and your bronzing is gonna come out way better. And three, you're not gonna need two different foundations for winter or summer. One foundation is good enough, just work on your contouring, right? You're gonna dial it up or dial it down depending on if it's summer or not. Little tip there. So we're gonna contour, and for contouring, I trust none other than my LA Girl Pro Conceal HD concealer in the shade Beautiful Bronze. I love the fact that it comes with its own applicator because I can contour my nose with it. I can contour underneath of my chin, and I don't have to be concerned about it being too thick of a line, because that's a thing. So we're gonna take this on the temples, and this is like maybe 3 shades darker than what the Medium Tan is from Milk Makeup, but that's what contours are for. You're not gonna put this all over your face. I'm gonna put it on my temples. I'm gonna put it down the nose. Look at that. Zero struggle. I'm gonna put it, make sure I put it below my nose, and then I'm also gonna take it right above where this is called the tragus. You're gonna take it a little higher than the tragus so that when you blend it out, it blends out to a nice line. It's not too low. And then again, I'm just gonna sweep that underneath of my chin. A little secret there. We're gonna use the same brush to blend this out, and we're gonna just use the same motion of patting. Except you want to make sure you keep this right at the temple because it's going to help frame your face so much. So for concealer, this has been my combination for a minute. Like the Born This Way multi-use concealer by Too Faced has to be one of my favorite higher end concealers at Sephora. This and the Huda Beauty as well as the NARS Matte Pot. Love. And then I use Benefit Cosmetics, their Boi-omg Cakeless concealer to highlight. But first, let's correct. So this shade is maybe one shade lighter than my foundation shade. Most of the times it should be the same color because this is gonna help us conceal. And I'm gonna put that right in the inner corner or the smaller triangle. I like to make sure that that is very contained because it's addressing redness or darkness. Forehead, a little bit of the chin area, that's where I have some congestion, and then sometimes around the nose, I'll have a little bit of redness peek through. However, good luck with that. Using this Smashbox foundations, there is nothing coming through. So I'm gonna blend starting with the areas that are furthest away from the under eye, so chin and forehead. This is where I take advantage and really push everything into the skin with the sponge. It'll help diffuse the layers, make it look super skin-like. And with the prep that we did, I mean guys, look at how much glow is coming through there. Yes. I like to use concealing techniques with the smaller triangle, larger triangle. So the concealing step, which is number one, what we're doing is the smaller triangle, which is directly underneath of the under eye area where I get blues or purples or grays sometime. That's the smaller triangle. So we're blending this part even up into the bridge of the nose, pushing it into the pockets so we get the darkness, and then also color correcting our contouring. Now we're gonna do the larger triangle, which I use a highlighting shade. Highlighting shades are anywhere from 3, sometimes 5 shades lighter, depending on how much darkness or what you're trying to highlight. That's where I use the Boi-omg Cakeless in the shade number 2. I should tell you what I use my Too Faced Born This Way in. This is in Nude. So, larger triangle is going to be the areas that I want to highlight, which are the cheekbone, a little bit of the forehead, the nose, and then the chin has to be equal to the rest of the face, so I put very minimal there. So we're going to start here. I like to highlight these up here. I also reinforce the inner corner just in case there's some darkness that I couldn't get. The very top of the forehead, the chin, and then the nose. That might have been too much for the nose, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dab my finger. And then this gets dragged up just like your highlight would, the illuminator does, but upwards. Yes, covered up, come through. All right, so we're gonna finish the under eye area, but we're gonna bake first. Very little bit. And this formula is Jojo's secret powder combination. So in here you will find 2 Maybelline Fit Me colors, because I love that formula. And then you'll also find the RCMA translucent powder. I mix them up and I put them into a little container like this. This formula, I dare you to find something better than this powder. It is so good. So good. So I'm gonna take it on a smaller Hank and Henry sponge, and we're gonna work that into my under eye area. This is where I get all of the oil buildup, all of the shine. So this is where I'm gonna bake, is in the smaller triangle area. I'm not gonna bake anywhere else. I'm going out to dinner, and it is a beautiful sunny day in Florida. And if you're from Florida, you know that we love sunny days, but they can plague you, especially if you wear makeup. So I'm gonna set my area that's considered the T-zone, where you build up oils. And then also my smile lines. Let's move on to the under eye. We're gonna do the same thing we did at the top to the bottom, meaning we're gonna start off by first using that light taupe shade, then building up to the darker taupe shade, and then into our dark rich brown. I'm gonna do that all using the smaller brush. This is a Luxie 231 brush. Love it. Love it. All right. So sticking to this palette, because I don't want to introduce a new palette to you guys, there's this color at the very top right here, this guy in the corner. That's what we're going to use in the inner corner. It's actually a matte highlight. I haven't done this in a minute, so we'll see how that works, how I like it. So for the inner corner, I like to sweep that upwards into everything else. I'm actually not mad at that. It's nice. It's not fully matte, but it's not super iridescent, and I'm okay with that. We're going for the neutral smoky eye look. And I'm going to just sweep that below the brow as well, just to kind of tie everything together. I'm really liking this neutral vibe moment. Liking it. All right, so that wraps it up for the shadows down there. I'm going to apply some liner and a little bit of mascara. For liner, guys, I have to. We're gonna use beige. If you wanna use a brown or the black that we use at the top, go right ahead. I just don't like the way that the black looks in my waterline. And then again, the same mascara for the lower lash line. Build it up. Let's powder off a little bit of that under eye, although that formula is so nice that you should really have nothing left over underneath your eyes. And to do that, I'm actually gonna use this guy. This is the Matte Studio Fix in C2. This is a little more brightening for the under eye area. I like it very nice and bright. It also helps to set and cover if my concealer missed anything, which I can tell you it did not. So I'll use this to sweep off and then to reinforce anything. Boom. And then now we can go in and contour up. We're gonna use the KVD Beauty Shade and Light palette. Love this to help me bronze up and contour. So for contouring, I like to use a nice pointed tapered brush. This is a Real Techniques contouring brush and a very light hand. And we're just gonna reinforce everything we did with our creams. I'm using the coolest tone of all the shadows to create some contour and some definition. We'll warm up with the other shades. Next is highlight and blush, and then we're literally done. So I have been loving this highlight. It is by Dior. It is their 001. Look at it. buttery and smooth and beautiful. So I'm gonna take that right into here. Above the brow and right above the cheekbone into the shape of a C. And we're gonna use this MAC, just a pinch. What is it? Extra Dimension blush and an angled brush. I love to use an angled brush to apply blush. This is just gonna perk my face up a little bit. There's a lot of neutrals going on, so it'll help to just give me a little bit of something, something. But it is just so subtle and so light. Yes, awesome. So the last thing that we have for this look is lip and setting spray. So let me go ahead and fix my hair, pick a lip, and I'll be back to do the outro. All right, guys, so this is the finished look here. I paired it with a nudie lip just because there's so much going on. You can absolutely, you know, follow it up. However, I keep it pretty neutral when it comes to smoky eyes. And what I use to create this is a Jordana lip liner in the shade Tawny. For lipstick, I used a very, like, I love this. This is the Givenchy Street Rose lipstick. I love carrying this, by the way. Anyways, it's a very like sheer nude lip, and then what I put over top of it, because whenever I wear my hair back like this, I take advantage and I put gloss on so my hair is not all over the place, is this guy. This has been a favorite of mine for nude lips. It's the Enamored High Shine Lip Lacquer by Marc Jacobs in the shade Sugar Sugar. Love. This is it. This is the all about the neutrals smoky eye fall glam for you guys. This is just a nice way to go with the fall trend without being super dark. However, it is pretty dark. It's a smoky eye, but we use taupes and browns versus blacks. Or warm browns, which isn't flattering on everyone, and matte, all matte. Like, can you believe that? Look at the complexion. I feel like we accomplished a nice, flawless, smooth complexion, full coverage, but yet it looks so lightweight, like skin. Like I'm telling you, check out this Smashbox foundation if you haven't already. I mean, I've had it for about a year. I'm nowhere near being done. I can tell you that right now. It is so good. And then behind here, I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but when you open up a packaging, it has a little container. Here's some education. It has a little container here. That container has a number. That number tells you how long the product lasts after you open it. And this is 24 months. So just saying, it's a really good investment. If you've tried it based off of my recommendations, I'd love to hear from you. Comment down below and tell me what you think. Just because I always recommend things and people walk out of the store and I never get to see them again. Rarely do I get to see them again. So if you guys could share with me how you feel about that foundation based off of my recommendation, let me know. Comment. That's it for the tutorial today. I hope that you guys liked it. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. Again, comment below, tell me. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. We are getting to 1,000 subscribers by 2021. I believe that. I know that we can do it. You guys have been helping so much. So please go ahead and do that. If you are not aware, I did do a giveaway this week. On my Instagram, I gave away a $100 gift card to Sephora for people who were participating in the giveaway. And I plan on doing a lot more of those to help me get to the 1,000. So thank you so much. If you're part of the Jojo family, I really appreciate it. And that is it for today's tutorial. Bless you guys. Love you guys. I'll see you guys next time.